to all, welcome to our VIATA conference. Warning, the following pictures might be disturbing to some of you. Please be prepared.
A number of people do suffer from human atopic dermatitis. And do you know that this actually happened to our best friend, dog as well? In this case, they are known as canine atopic dermatitis, CAD. Eaters are predisposed skin country and severely allergic skin disease, with clinical feature commonly associated with antibodies produced in response to environmental allergens. This is a commonly seen atopic disease in terriers, Schnauzer, Pug, and Beagle. Clinical signs of CAD include frequent rubbing of the eye and facial folds, sneezing, reddening of the eyes, and frequent scratching and licking of the paws. Allergens are inhaled, ingested, absorbed through skin and cause immune system to produce an antibody called IgE. This attaches itself to tissue mast cell in the skin, which release irritating chemicals such as histamine and cause skin inflammation. Owners and vets find it hard to tackle the problem as there can be a range of underlying causes. It can be a combination of host susceptibility and environmental factors, including dust, pollen. It can also be food-related or parasite-related, such as fleas and mice. But in this case, we are only concerning about environmental factors. CAD is actually affecting 10 to 15% of Canada population. However, there is limited supporting material that is going in depth with various environmental factors. A group of scientists were trying to find out various effects of environmental factors associated with the development of CAD by examining two genetically crossbred Labrador and Golden Retrievers. Results obtained can be used as a reference for future treatment.
In Switzerland and Germany, Labradors, Goldies, and their mixed breed were recruited between January and October 2009. For each dog, a thorough history was recorded. An animal dermatologist performed a clinical exam to see if the dog has CAD. In order to wipe out dogs that have food allergy, a 6-week elimination diet followed by subsequent dietary challenge was done. Only dogs with signs of skin, ear, periodic disease, and no response to the elimination diet were enrolled in the control group, while the remaining dogs were assigned to CAD group.
Meanwhile, the dog owners were asked to complete a questionnaire of 46 questions clustered in 5 risk factors about dog's state of birth, the breeding conditions, surroundings, housing conditions, and feeding. Questions like where does the dog live? Does the owner use a special vacuum cleaner for allergic people? How often does the owner bathe the dog? Which kind of food does the dog normally eat? Were asked. Data was summarized and tabulated.
According to the findings, 144 dogs suffered from CAD, with 234 as control dogs. This is proven that variation in breeds were not associated with CAD. Figure shows that dogs born in cooler season are 1.44 times more prone to develop CAD than those born in warmer season, as this is when the pollens are at their highest count. They found that puppies kept in a shed outside the house are 20 times more likely to develop CAD than dogs kept inside. This contradicts with what was expected. Puppies living indoors were expected to have higher chance of developing CAD as they were exposed to dust mite allergens, which play a major role in CAD. Besides, dogs adopted between ages of 8 to 12 weeks are found to be 5 times more likely to develop CAD than dogs of less than 8 weeks. The analysis revealed that dogs living in urban areas are 2.7 times more likely to develop CAD. Nonetheless, this relationship is not so clear due to confounding factors. For example, dog owners in urban areas visit vet more often, and therefore more CAD cases were found. Dogs living with other animals had less chance to develop CAD. It may be true as early life exposure can enhance the immune system to confront CAD. However, the association may be unclear, since dog owners with CAD dogs tend not to adopt other animals. Furthermore, dogs that were washed once per week were 21 times more likely to have CAD than dogs that were never washed or less than once per week. This is true because frequent washing removes natural protective layers, sebum, and thus loses its skin barrier function.
Generally speaking, the results obtained are more like an overview of general risk factors that might or might not contribute to CAD. It is of course of certain degree of evidence to which the result we obtained is what we have expected from previous findings. For instance, multiple pets in one household lower the incidence of CAD, which similar findings have been reported in humans. In addition to that, walking the dog regularly in a forest and living in rural area also have a protective effect against the development of CAD, which allows us to interpret an association in light of some human studies suggesting urban lifestyles predisposed to HAD. There is, of course, some obtained results that are still questionable. For instance, we do expect that puppies living indoors during their first month of age should be more prone to develop CAD than puppies that live outdoor in a shed, cause the dust mite hiding indoors is a critical factor contributing to CAD in most cases. But it is not the case from what we have obtained, and it actually contradicts with preliminary findings. This deviation might be due to numbers of confounding factors that were not taken into account for this study. There are two other preliminary studies that aim to explore the role of environmental factors in the development of CAD, but both of them did not give a very reliable results. The first study was done with poor diagnostic technique, while the major drawback for the second study was the limited number of dogs. In order to tackle these problems, we have specifically chosen two closely related breeds and recruited a large number of experimental objects. Furthermore, each of the owners themselves was required to fill in a questionnaire regarding their own pets so that we could obtain more reliable background for this purpose. However, as mentioned earlier, there are quite a number of confounding factors that were not taken into account, and some of the factors were not precisely defined and could have been variable. For instance, the distance of forest, lakes, and other animals in the surrounding area from the owner's residence was not specified. I would say this paper is of certain educational values, however, this might not be the best reference to go for, as there certainly are things that were not taken into perspective or consideration when conducting the study. Moreover, there does exist some contradictions between preliminary findings in this study. Thus, I would not say this paper is of high standards and we remain doubtful of some of the results. I would say some findings are certainly useful to animal owners. For example, frequent bathing tends to boost the development of CAD. At the same time, as mentioned earlier, there are many factors that were not properly considered in this study. For instance, whether the object has been visiting the vets often, or whether the object has been regularly dewormed or vaccinated. These are all factors that might contribute to development of CAD. Hence, ideally, I would recommend doing multiple investigation on specific control factors on the development of the disease for more coherent and supportive findings. Thank you all lovely people for watching this presentation. We highly appreciate your patience and would love to hear your feedback and comments. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions. Thank you!